So I'm on my way to Philly to pick up some supplies that I need for a few t-shirts that I'm making. And I'm also discuss the few different ways that I've printed t-shirts personally and what I find the best method for small business. I think they all have their own pros and cons, but you have to figure out what works for you as far as circumstances, space, money, time, a whole bunch of other stuff that I can't think of right now. But yeah, we're just going to discuss the few different ways that I've tried and that I use now in my business. As far as vinyl, transfers, those really the only two. I screen print a little bit, but I'll get into why I don't like to screen print. Not that I don't like screen printing, because that comes down to circumstances. Screen printing is pretty cool, but I'll discuss that later as well too. Okay, so I made my first stop. My first way of printing is screen printing. Screen printing is really, really fun. However, you gotta have space. Like, yeah, you can do it at home with like the speedball kits and things like that, but one, that becomes expensive if you're doing it with speedball, because you have to keep buying those little 8-ounce things, and those 8-ounce jars, I believe, are like, I think like $9 a piece, between 9 and 15. I'm seeing one of those numbers. I don't remember, but yeah, you can set that up and you can do like at home things. Or if you have like a small brand and you just want to print your own shit, that definitely would work. However, you want to consider a few things. You could do like DIY screens and things like that, but the ideal way to do is with like emulsion and burning a screen and things like that. So you want to have space. The problem that I found with screen printing was it was very messy and you need access to water. So when I was screen printing in the basement of my aunt's house, and there was no water supply down there. Therefore, I had to take the screens upstairs after burning them and wash it out in the tub. You can imagine how messy that gets. And I wouldn't want to work with printing supplies and mix it where you bathe. That's just not ideal. It's not the cleanest. It's not the safest either. So that's one thing to consider. But if you have like a basement with like water supply, and maybe even a back door where you can discard the water, or, you know, go straight outside and use a hose, you might have the perfect setup for it. And you also, you're going to need your, like the actual machine. I cannot get the name. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. You need the actual machine so you can do like 1 color, 2 color, 3 colors, 4 colors. You get 4 colors, you definitely need some space. You definitely need some space, because at that point you need like dryers and things like that, somewhere to hang the garments. Yeah, so screen printing, the pro is that the shirts last damn near forever. They last damn near forever. The quality is amazing when you finally like burn a screen correctly, you know. What else I like about screen printing? And you can mass produce much faster once you have your actual silkscreen machine. It's just like set the screens up, put them on there, whoop, 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 and keep it pushing. That's the one thing I did like about screen printing. The things I didn't like is messy. It can become costly if you're not using bulk products. It can become costly, and you can't, quote unquote, erase mistakes with screen printing. Like with vinyl, I'll talk about that later. Sometimes you can like double back and fix it. Screen printing, once that shirt has paint on it, is a wrap. Now, somebody else might know something different than me, but it's just so messy. Once it gets on a shirt, it's like you're frustrated. At least I was. And that's why I was like, yeah, this one isn't for me. Okay, I'm back at my studio to talk about more and different ways of printing t-shirts, whether you want to run a t-shirt business, whether you doing it at home just for a project, doing small little projects, stay-at-home mom, DIY projects, things like that. Vinyl, one of my favorites. You can't really do intricate things like this. I mean, you can, but when it comes down to weeding and things like that, it can take a lot of time. If you were doing this with vinyl, I'm not sure you can see it. If you were doing something like that with vinyl, you are prepared to sit there and weed a whole lot. I mean, yeah, because that's different colors. So I don't even know if it would be cost efficient because there's so many different colors in there and you have to buy different sheets, different whatever. So you want to consider those things with vinyl. It's limitless as far as like layering. You can layer if you know how to use Photoshop and like cut things out the perfect way, so you're not literally laying colors on top of each other. You're laying on top of the shirt only, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's one con to vinyl printing. The pros is you can do things fairly cheap if you do it in a way where you're doing a lot at once. Like if you're doing a lot of t-shirts at once, like let's call it 10, you can buy like a 24-foot roll and put it in something like a US cutter. At that point, you're not using a silhouette unless you like cut it in half, but that wouldn't make sense. But yeah, you could do a lot at once. And let's say your design is small. Vinyl usually comes 12 inches by like a couple yards. If you're doing a small design, you can do like a lot of those designs on one sheet. So you can possibly do like 20 shirts on one sheet of vinyl, which is great. I love doing that as far as shirt tags. I use that for my shirt tags. So vinyl is pretty cool in that manner. What else do I like about vinyl? If you do it correctly, it lasts a really long time. I have seen vinyl lift. However, if you do it on the right temperature, the right pressure, your shirt will most likely last the life of the shirt. Just like screen printing, just like what I said about screen printing, as far as like the quality stays there. But yeah, vinyl is cool if you're doing like one color things, 2 colors, maybe 3 colors if you want to be spicy. But just understand you're going to take some time to do it. And it all depends on the design, because if each color is, you know, a nice size thing, like let's say you're doing a Nike logo and you're doing like 3 different colors on it, that's not going to kill you. But if you're doing something like this, you might just give up. What else? That's about it for vinyl. In vinyl, you don't need a lot of space. You don't need a lot of space. I have a studio here. I'll show it in another video. That's for another time. You don't need a lot of space. You can literally have your laptop, your silhouette, and your heat press. Heat press, if you're just starting out, yeah, you can go for the bigger one if you plan on being in the game for a long time, but you can get something off Amazon for like $300. I have that here simply because I rent my studio out. So I allow other people to use this machine as well. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money on something that could potentially break. You know, those things, those precautions need to be taken. What else? That's it. The startup cost is very, very low for vinyl printing. If you have about $500, you can definitely get started in vinyl printing. Definitely. Yeah, so those are the 2 ways I'm gonna talk about today. I'm gonna save the other ways for another video, because this video is super long and I want to keep them short. I like short videos. Hopefully my viewers like short videos, and we're gonna go from there.